Greetings and welcome to this YouTube channel. A few words of explanation, I hope to help you work your way around things and see what you need. During the early stages of the COVID lockdown, spring 2020, I was Bishop of Peterborough and I started recording a weekly video sermon to send out to the parishes, most of whom, or all of whom, were having to do their worship online, if at all, or occasionally on phone messaging. And very quickly, I started to do a weekly talk on a psalm as well. That went out midweek, and there was a sermon on the gospel set for each Sunday. And that continued through COVID. I really enjoyed doing them. And when we came back to church for little bits and the restrictions were lifted, I carried on doing it because not everyone was able to get back and many churches were still doing online services. My intention wasn't to replace the regular vicar's sermon at all, but to provide an alternative, something extra. Perhaps the vicar might not feel able or comfortable to record sermons. It also covered illness and holidays and so on. And there was good take-up of both the sermons and the midweek talks on the Psalms. I retired from Peterborough just at the beginning of 2023, but with 3 months left to complete the 3-year cycle of gospel readings that the Church of England produces, and about the same time left to complete all 150 psalms. So I made recordings of those as well in advance of my retirement, and they, I believe, have been used in Peterborough after my departure. So much of what is on this YouTube channel is the recordings of those sermons on the 4 Gospels and the talks I gave on the Psalms. Not every verse of every Gospel is covered. The lectionary, the readings that are set, doesn't quite do that. 1 or 2 biggish gaps, which I hope to address in the next few months. There are 1 or 2 places where there's overlap, same passage done more than once for different reasons. There's 1 place where I've done an overlap in the Psalms because I forgot I'd done Psalm 98 and I did it another time. So you can have 2 bites at that one if you want. The sermons were all aimed to be between 10 and 15 minutes, and the talks on the Psalms a bit shorter, aimed between 5 and 10 minutes. Usually I hit that self-imposed time limit. Sometimes I may have overshot or even undershot. As things went on during lockdown, other talks and so on happened, and I began to do a few Bible teaching series in a little bit more depth than a sermon. So for different reasons, Lent courses and so on, I produced a number of Bible teaching series where the talks were normally half an hour or so, and they went through different books of the Bible in more or less depth. And I'm making those available on this channel as well. So you'll find sermons on the Gospels, talks on the Psalms, Bible teaching series. And those include 2 ordination retreats that I took online. We weren't able to do all our normal things. We ordained people in the cathedral with very few present, but normally we have those being ordained in a fairly intensive retreat for several days beforehand, a lot of silence and listening to some Bible talks. So again, I produce those Bible talks online. They tend to be, they're shorter, they're back to sermon length, but they were aimed very much for those being ordained in those years. And I've made them available too. I hope they can be a help and a blessing. That more or less sums up what will be here when I've got all those links transferred and recopied and so on and put right for this format. that will happen before long. I'm talking to you mid-March 2023. I hope by the summer all that material will be available and online. But I'm also intending in retirement to do more Bible teaching, and very keen to do that. So new material will be appearing on this channel as well. I'm quite minded to start with a series of slightly longer, possibly half-hour talks, taking us through the Sermon on the Mount. So you might find that popping up before too long, I hope. I'm very open to comments or suggestions of what material you'd like. Comments can be good or bad. As long as they help me get it better for the future, I'd be very grateful for them. Email me. You can find the link in the About section of the YouTube channel, or it is Feed My Sheep 2023. That's all one word, 2023 in numbers. Feed My Sheep 2023 at gmail.com. I'd look forward to hearing from you.